This is our software engineering info session, so thank you for joining us. My name is Ray, and I work here. I'm on the admissions team, and I am the discipline lead on admissions for software engineering specifically. This is my face, and I have been at Flatiron School for 2 years and counting. Like I said already, I'm based out of Denver, Colorado, and if you wanted to know, I'm an avid foodie, road tripper, and also a furniture collector. So that's a little bit about me. Before we get started today, this meeting is going to be recorded. The presentation itself, I don't think is going to take too long, like hoping for 20-25 minutes tops. And then at the end, I would love to answer any questions that you have. So if you have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to pop them in the chat box. They can be questions about like something that you hear in this presentation today, or just like Flatiron School in general. Happy to answer any and all of them towards the end. And then the last thing is that this will be recorded, and I will send you a copy of the slide deck and also of the presentation recording so that you have it to reference for the future. And without further ado, let's jump right in. Here's the agenda. So welcome. That's what we're doing right now. We'll touch on like COVID-19, the campus experience, talk about our live versus flex program paces, solid overview of the software engineering program, admissions process, career services, Q&A, and then wrap up with some next steps. Starting with Flatiron School's mission statement, which is to enable the pursuit of a better life through education. So our goal is to set you up for a successful future in your new career path. We consider this to be a career-changing course, and we want to make your transition into the tech industry a smooth one. So we will dive into what that looks like throughout the rest of the presentation. This is sort of a history of Flatiron School. So we were founded in 2012 in New York City by Adam and Avi. They combined Adam's passion for education with Avi's experience in code to create and deliver the Flatiron School software engineering curriculum. We currently have 8 campus locations in Austin, Chicago, Denver, Houston, Manhattan, San Francisco, Seattle, and Washington, D.C. And our sister school, Secure Set Academy, also operates in Colorado Springs and here in Denver. And then lastly, our graduates are able to launch careers in the tech industry with impressive starting salaries, and in most cases, make a full career transition in less than a year. So response to COVID, as we all know, I think at this point, our campuses have been closed and operating remotely since March of 2020, but we're really excited to share that we'll be reopening select campuses soon. This is very much in flux, but as it stands right now is we're starting to open select campuses as sort of like community spaces, like a place for you to connect with fellow students, utilize as a study space, and then also attend in-person events. For most of our campus, learning will still happen virtually. We don't have a set date on when in-person instruction will resume for all of our campus spaces. That said, in January and in February of 2022, we are hosting a fully in-person cohort on our New York City campus, and then also in our Denver, Colorado campus. So very, very exciting. Those cohorts are filling very quickly. So if you're interested in a full-time program and you're interested in doing it in person in Denver or in New York City, apply right this second. And then again, like more info to come. This sort of changes by the week based on guidelines. And so if you have any questions or you want to read more about our campus experience plan, all of that info is on our website, flatironschool.com/campus experience. Okay, so we're going to talk about software engineering specifically today, but I wanted to start by explaining our 2 learning paces, which are live and flex. Basically, everyone's schedule is so different. Some people choose to quit their jobs and take a fully immersive program, while others are like working full-time or working part-time and have other life responsibilities and want to take a course on their off hours. We recognize this. And so we offer the exact same curriculum at a variety of paces so that you can choose what's going to be the best fit for you. So our live program is the quickest and most intense pace option. Students are working 9 hours a day at minimum, like Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, attending live lectures, working on group activities, building out their portfolio projects throughout the day. Very important note with our live program is that it is impossible to work a job and take the live course. Like there are just not enough hours in the day. That's sort of what our Flex program is for. And so with Flex, you're able to set your own schedule. So you can choose 20, 40, or 60 weeks, which is 5, 10, or 15 months respectively. And the pace that you set for yourself dictates your weekly time commitment to the program. But with Flex, it doesn't matter when you get the work done, it matters that you get the work done. So you have some flexibility if you want to do it pretty autonomously, working in the middle of the night, working on the weekends, getting it in where you can, fabulous. If you want to do something during the week, there's a ton of live, office hours and study sessions and community events and ways to stay involved. But you have the flexibility to be as plugged in or as sort of unplugged as your schedule allows for. And that's the Flex program. With the Flex course, you do have a lead instructor and you have technical coach support throughout the program. All of the lectures that you must watch are recorded, but you have, like I said, the option to attend live lectures and study sessions throughout the week as well. Happy to share more info if you have specific questions, pop them in the chat box. And then for live and Flex, career services support is the exact same. And lastly, you don't have to be certain that you want to take the live or the Flex program before applying to the course. Feel free to submit an application. This is something that you can talk to your admissions rep about, and we can help you figure out what is going to be the best fit for you. Moving right along, this is a breakdown of an average day in our live program. So you may log in at 9 a.m., spend some time debriefing on yesterday's learnings, and then come together for a live lecture where you're learning something new. You'll break for lunch, you'll come back, and then you'll implement what you learned with paired programming or a code challenge or a personal project, just depending on the day. The program is all about hands-on skill building. So every single thing that you learn in class is designed to prepare you for the job that you'll be doing post-graduation. And so let's talk a little bit about software engineering specifically. Definitely our most popular program. It's the program that we launched with way back in 2012, have iterated on it constantly since then. And it really is sort of like the bread and butter of Flatiron School. And so software engineering is, by definition, the design, development, maintenance, testing, and evaluation of websites and computer software. Our software engineering bootcamp course gives you the necessary expertise in both back-end and front-end development, which prepares you to be a full stack web developer post-graduation. And some typical job titles we see our students land are software engineers and also software developers. This is a breakdown of our curriculum. You'll get the full syllabus in an email after we wrap today, but the primary technical languages we teach are Ruby and JavaScript, but you can also expect to learn front-end frameworks like React and Redux and back-end frameworks like Sinatra and Rails. The curriculum is broken into 5 phases. So for the live program, each phase is about 3 weeks long. You'll start with phase 0 after you're admitted into the program. And phase 0 is about 60 hours of pre-work in JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. And it is mandatory for all students to complete before starting the program on day 1. So the hard work starts even before your start date. And it is for this reason that we recommend applying to the program at least 6 weeks before your desired start date. to give you enough time to work through the pre-work material and start successfully. On day one, you'll start phase one, which is JavaScript, followed by React for the front end. Phases 3 and 4 are Ruby and Rails for the back end. And then your final phase is where you sort of put it all together and finalize your full stack portfolio. So that on graduation day, you'll have everything that you need to immediately start applying for jobs. This is an example of a portfolio project. I'm sort of halfway through the program, completed by 2 Flatiron School students, and it's called Words with Nerds. It is a fully responsive gaming app, or like word puzzle, built as a paired project during module 3 of our 5-module course, just to give you an idea of what you can expect to learn and create while you're in the program. Also, if you're looking for like capstone projects to see the end result of the program, so many of our graduates have published their projects on YouTube. So if you search like Flatiron School Phase 5 project or Flatiron School capstone project, there's a ton of really cool ones. And if you want examples, admissions has some too. So we're happy to send them over, but check YouTube, pro tip. All right, admissions process. So this is a breakdown of our process. Basically, the first step that you see here is to submit a written application. From there, myself or one of my colleagues will reach out and get you scheduled for an admissions interview, which is generally like a 20-minute conversation, typically over Zoom, where we just get to know you. It's non-technical. In that conversation, we'll also help you prepare for the admissions assessment, which is the next step for most of our programs. And then from there, after completing the admissions assessment, you will receive your admissions decision. Once admitted, you'll get access to pre-work. You will choose your financing method, you'll sign your enrollment paperwork, and then you'll start class on day 1. So these are some like frequently asked questions, I guess. This is probably number 1, like, how do I know that I'm ready to apply? Or like, I want to do a program, but I'm scared to apply. I'm scared to take the first step, whatever. You do not need to know how to code. Like, you do not have to be a professional software engineer before applying to this program. That is literally why you are here. But you should definitely know that you're ready for a career change. And you should also know approximately how much time you have each week to dedicate to a program so that we can help you figure out the pace that's going to be best for you. If you want to self-teach, I think that self-teaching is very, important. It's good to like have a little bit under your belt, not to be an expert, but to be comfortable with the process of learning a new skill. I think that is what you need to sort of start to accomplish as a beginner. And so any self-teaching is great. If you want to work on Codecademy, fabulous. If you want to, look up YouTube videos, great. We also have some free like little intro courses on our website. If you're interested, there's like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Ruby. There's a Python one that's pretty cool. So, if you want like a jumping off point, feel free to use our free courses. And this is how to access them. If you just go to our website, top left is the courses button. And then, the first little group are all of our like paid bootcamp programs if you want information on those. But down below is free lessons. Click Intro to Coding and enjoy. All right, this is another question that I get all the time, like what are we looking for in an applicant? Our students, like our student body is so diverse. It's a career changing course, so we really get people from all different backgrounds, and I think that's sort of part of the magic. You should be passionate about learning this new skill set. It's hard, right? It's going to take hard work, so be ready for that and be excited for the learning process. And I think that's really the biggest thing. Aptitude and also embody our values, like be scrappy and pursue mastery, and most certainly work together because you're going to be doing a lot of that in this program. All right, moving right along, want to give you guys a rundown of the financing and tuition for the program. We have a handful of different payment options and scholarship opportunities to help make this feasible for our students. Number one, tuition for the program, whether you do live or flex, is $16,900 in total. Basically how it works is when you're admitted into the program, you pay a deposit of $500 up front. You can pay with a credit card, you can pay with a bank account, whatever you want to do. That $500 secures your seat in class. And it's also what unlocks the mandatory pre-work for the program. So you pay that. And then for the balance, you don't have to pay the balance until a little bit closer to your start date. But you can pay in installments. This is kind of a cool option, 12 equal interest-free installments, and you're paying monthly throughout the course of a year. We also have a couple of different lenders. You can take it out in a loan, pay it back monthly after you graduate. And then we also have some scholarship opportunities posted on our website. We have an access scholarship aimed to help those in underrepresented communities in tech or in need of financial assistance. There's a couple of other really cool initiatives. You can find them all and information on eligibility on our website under the scholarship and diversity initiatives page. Also, I know this is a lot of information I'm throwing at you guys, but for your information, these scholarship applications are internal. So if you're interested in a scholarship, you're going to want to apply to the program first. You're going to have your admissions interview. And in that call, you're going to ask about scholarships. We have the form, we will send you that form. And from there, once you can fill out the scholarship application. And once you're admitted, you can be considered for some of those awards. All right. So we've talked a lot about what happens before and during the program. And now just want to talk a little bit about what comes afterwards. And that is your job search. So a little bit about our career coaching. Basically how it works is regardless of the program or the pace that you choose, when you're about 80% of the way through the course, we will match you with one designated career coach to assist you with everything from resume review, mock interviews, even a mock technical interview. These are professional career coaches who work one-on-one with our grads to make sure that you feel confident walking into your job search. And then in addition to your coach, you'll also have the assistance of our employer partnerships team. And their role is to nurture local relationships with employers so that they're ready to hire our graduates. Speaking of hiring our graduates, these are some of the companies that our grads have been employed by. And wow, that was the last slide. That was so fast. Looks like a pretty small group today. Thanks for sticking with me. If you have any questions at all, now is the time. Feel free to pop them in the chat, pop them in the Q&A box, whatever you want to do. I'll pause for a minute or two to see if anybody has questions. And then if not, I'll wrap it up so you can enjoy your evenings, afternoons. I don't even know what day it is at this point, honestly. Okay, Katie has a question. Hey, Katie. Katie asked, what are the start dates in January? So our start dates in January are January 10th. And then also there's one on January 31st. The live in-person cohorts in New York City and Denver, that start date is January 10th. So if you are interested in an in-person program, the January 10th one is the course that's going to be in person. Also on January 10th is a full-time virtual program, and then also the Flex virtual program as well. So you have options. And I know that the start dates aren't always on the website. I feel like there's a limit to how many we put. Generally, there's a start date almost every 3 weeks. So if you're looking and you want to, approximate a March or an April, I would just count 3 weeks from the last start date that's on our website. That generally gives you a good sense of when we'll have another cohort. Someone says we're in the middle of a pandemic. Yes, we are. What happens if someone needs to take time off for medical reasons in the middle of their enrollment? Yeah, that's a good question. So for our full-time program, it's a very fast moving course. for 15 weeks. That said, I mean, it's hard to even predict tomorrow, let alone like, 3 months in the future. So we do have a like a break that's an option for students, a leave of absence policy for our full-time students that you can take up to 30 days of a pause, penalty free, and sort of resume with the following cohort if you were to get sick or for whatever reason. You have that leave of absence policy for the full-time program. The flex program is a little bit different because students, even if you took the 20-week flex program, you technically have like 60, the full 60 weeks to complete the course because the paces are just like sort of thresholds. So there's no leave of absence policy for the flex program, but you can build it in there yourself if you'd like to. If you start with a 20-week course and you need to take a pause, it's going to push back your graduation slightly, but it's something that's feasible for sure. Let's see. How long does career services continue after graduation? Yeah, so the career coaching, basically, it starts when you're about 80% of the way through the program, and then typically lasts either for 6 months post-graduation or until you get a job, like whichever one sort of comes first. Most of our grads are getting jobs within 6 months. So, if you get hired, you sort of stop calling us, and that's fine. That's our goal. But you will have career services access for 6 months post-graduation if you want to. And then another really, really cool Flatiron School perk is that you have access to 3 career coaching sessions a year as an alum for free. So if you're up for a promotion, it's time to negotiate salary, you just need to brush up on your interviewing skills, whatever you want. You have the opportunity to meet with your career coach 3 times a year. Cool. Let's see. Oh, a second question. Could you please speak to the background of the instructors and then also the career coaches? Yeah. So career coaches are professional career coaches. They oftentimes own their own practice. And so all of the sort of experience and licensing and stuff that goes into that. But yeah, oftentimes they own their own career coaching practice, and they actually contract with Flatiron School and take on a handful of students at a time. It's a really, I just got off a meeting with career coaches, and I'm reminded every time that I talk to them how cool of a feature that is for our students. Because you can be the best software engineer in the world and you're still going to have imposter syndrome, sitting in on those job interviews. And it really is this one-on-one approach that they give to our students. They're like your job search buddy. You talk to them constantly. It's a really, really cool thing to have access to. And then our instructors, I don't remember exactly, there's specific credentials that they have to meet, but the biggest thing, sort of anecdotally, I guess, is that they should have experience in the industry as a software engineer and also experience as an instructor, because you can be, again, a really fabulous software engineer and a really terrible educator, and that is not going to cut it whenever you're teaching other people the skill. Okay. Oh, good questions. Good questions. Can applicants apply from outside the US? Yes. If I guess it depends. We have some international, we have some countries where we are licensed to offer our programs, and we have some that we are not. If you're curious, write in to admissions@flatironschool.com and just explain your situation, where you're calling in from, and we can give you more info. Can you start 60 weeks, for the flex program? Can you start with 60 weeks and go faster also? Yes. The flex program is so cool in that way. It is, it gives you structure, but it also gives you flexibility to change because, again, life is sort of uncertain. So you choose your pace to start 20, 40, or 60 weeks. The 20-week program is pretty full-time. You're looking at about 35 to 40 hours a week of work. The 60-hour-a-week program is super part-time, maybe 12 to 15 hours a week. And then the 40-week is somewhere in between, maybe 20, 25 hours a week. And so choose your pace to start, get situated in that pace. And then if you want to bump up, fabulous. You can bump up and your your graduation date is going to bump up as well. If you want to pull back, you can pull back as well. The only thing is that you do have to finish the program in 60 weeks. You cannot go beyond 60 weeks. But that's 15 months. Like that's a really, really long time to take this curriculum. Our full-time program, like they do it in 15 weeks. So you can definitely get it done. But yeah, you have flexibility to change your pace substantially if you'd like. Like if you wanted to bump from 60 to 40, great. You also have a little bit of leeway. Like if someone were to get sick or you needed to take some time off or a vacation or whatever, you can bump, like change it ever so slightly. Like maybe you finish in 18 weeks, maybe you finish in 22 weeks, whatever. Mark said, are there flex programs that are in person? No. So our flex program is fully virtual. However, our flex students have campus access. So if you live in a city where we have a campus that is open, you do not have to take an in-person program. You can take the part-time program, you can take the full-time virtual program, it doesn't matter. You have campus access just as a student. And so if you want to, I know there's a ton of flex students who like go to our New York City campus and sort of like have study sessions and stuff. So definitely take advantage of that if you happen to be in one of our cities with an open campus. Right now, our campus spaces that are open are New York, Denver, Austin, Texas, and Chicago, with more to reopen soon, which is exciting. What resources are available if I'm struggling? Yeah, what happens if I fail a coding challenge during the course? So it depends a little bit on your pace. The full-time program, again, it is rigorous. It moves quickly. It is, it's hard to fall too far behind. However, that's true. And then also it's natural for you to like struggle a little bit, to have questions, to need to like recap things. So number one, like all of the lectures and everything that you watch, all of the new information that's given to you is recorded and stored in a lecture bank that you have full access to 24/7 as a full or part-time student. So if you need that like reiteration, you have it. Which I think is really nice because things do move quickly and you might find yourself like, that evening sort of like reviewing some of those concepts, which is normal. The other really, really cool thing for both our live and our flex programs is that you have access to something called Pair with a Tech Coach. And basically, our tech coaches are oftentimes they're boot camp grads. Maybe they went through our program, maybe a similar program, whatever. They're working in the industry, and this is sort of like their part-time side hustle. And so it's really cool. The feature is open 7 days a week. For our full-time students, they have access on the weekdays from 6 p.m., like when the class ends, until midnight. And then on the weekends, 9 a.m. until midnight. And then our flex students have access 7 days a week, 9 a.m. until midnight. And so like full open availability. If you have a question, you're working on a code challenge, you're stuck, whatever, you submit a ticket. It's a really quick process. They will send you a Zoom link. I think it takes maybe 20 minutes, just depending on how busy they are. But it's a very quick turnaround. They'll send you a Zoom link. You jump on person to person, and they will not tell you the answer to your question, which is infuriating, but they'll sort of like walk you to the answer to your question. And so it's a really, really great thing to have access to when you're working on the weekends or you're working on your projects and late in the evening. That's something that you'll utilize a lot. All right, I think, one more. What kinds of challenges do graduates typically face when seeking employment right after graduation? Yeah, it's a good question. And it changes, right? Like we are in a pandemic, and I think that's something that is just real, like it's real life. It was more competitive, especially last year, like peak pandemic. It was taking grads a little bit longer to get a job. The job search is hard though, pandemic or not. I think in this industry, the biggest sort of hurdle is, especially because most of our grads are career changers, is the technical interview. Technical interviews are a big piece of applying for jobs as software engineers. Everybody hates them. It doesn't matter how good you are. It's still scary. But it's something that it's definitely dreaded, but it's something that like we prep you for because we know like how scary it is. And so you go through like so many mock technical interviews. We give you a lot of content around data structures and algorithms. That's something that we've added to our curriculum somewhat recently, just based on feedback from employers, to make you as confident going into the job search as possible. But you're going to apply to a bunch of jobs. You're going to sit in on interviews. You will get at least one rejection letter. Like, prepare yourself for that. It is all part of the fun, and eventually, like stick to it, and you will absolutely find success in the industry. And then once you're in, you're good to go. But I don't want to I don't want to say it's not hard, because it is. And will you record the Zoom, or will the slides be available to attendees for future reference? Yes, to both. This is being recorded, and then you will also get the slide deck along with, I think, like the jobs report and the syllabus and all kinds of good stuff in an email today. And I think that is all of our questions. So I will cap it there. And we can sort of talk about next steps. If I have thoroughly convinced you to apply to Flatiron School, you can do so, flatironschool.com/start to submit your application. Or if you still have questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. Like I said, you'll have the slide deck, so you can click that link, go.oneshub.com/Flatiron admissions, schedule a call. It's basically like a 10-minute chat. We can talk about whatever you want. It's not like a salesy thing, like literally schedule a call. We're happy to answer your questions and get you moving forward. And then also we have a ton of really, really cool events, far cooler than this one. We've been doing a ton of like intro workshops where you can like build your first game, build your first website. We have alumni panels, all kinds of cool stuff. And if you live in Austin, Denver, New York, or Chicago, we're having an open house event on November 10th. All of this information is on our website, but if you want to come and check out our campuses in person, in real life, very exciting, you can do so on November 10th if you want to. And then there's, a bunch of other cool events too. So definitely take a look, come to another one. And I think that is it, you guys. Thank you so much for spending your day, or part of your day with me. And we will see you whenever you submit an application. Thank you.